Okay, so I'm going to try something a little bit different today. Got to start out in the Discord with the crew, talk you through some of the trades we took on the day, um, and our thought processes, basically, how we navigate this market. Because I can tell you all the analysis and all the areas I like, but at the end of the day, you've got to know how to execute, and you see some great examples of execution in here. This is where the real value is. If you want the more in-depth value, then you need to be a part of these conversations. Like, as you'll see between Luke, myself, Fugazi, um, we did really well yesterday, considering the crazy price action. Um, so yeah, let's jump in. After that, I'll go into the analysis. I'm pretty much going to go straight into it, with only taking one little glance at the charts this morning. So you're pretty much going to get that all fresh from the top of my head. Um, I'll try and be quick, but I'm not going to try and get this wrapped up really quickly like in other ones. I'm just going to take my time, try and provide as much value as I can. So yeah, we start the day. Luke nails the top. I managed to get in with a little bit more confirmation. Obviously, two different kinds of traders, but more often than not, we've got the very similar trade setup. So you can see here, I decided to take it when we got back inside the VWAP bands, and we played a short of the VWAP. Nice short to play the rest of the day. Now, yesterday's analysis, I was talking about this green box. As you can see here, I've drawn a line. That was the Asia lows. As we came up, we hit into this, obviously we've got this 4-hour demand, which is the yellow box. You've also got this 15-minute, this is supply. You also got this 15-minute area here. Came up and you tap that, you hit into these premium areas, and obviously you look to take a short. That was the confluence we had with this low time frame execution. And then obviously I mentioned here, I expect these lows to go. Okay, why did I expect these lows to go? What have I been talking about? See this low here, right? And I know it's quite faint, I'm sorry. Let me just blow it up. You can see here, this is the low that took out the previous high. What happens? You break that structure. It's a 15-minute chart. Break that structure. What you expect after you break a structure? You expect a pullback into premium pricing. Okay, you get that premium price retrace. You find the short setup. You've got confluence with a 15-minute area in a larger 4-hour area, and what you get? You get a low time frame execution, and you get a clear short. Now, I should have held that short longer. I did mention here, as you'll see, very nice, took a scalp myself, closed out here. I'm happy with that. That's a decent move, although I expect these lows to go. Why did I expect these lows to go? Because this is now a weak low. We got that retrace into the area of supply. We now expect that area to be taken out market structure wise. Okay, we also had this area, this green box that we were talking about in the last video. Very important area. You've got a VWAP close, you've got a time point of control, you've got a volume point of control. Very much of interest to us. Okay. And then obviously ping pong at the minute between CME Open and the monthly Open, which is the UTC time on the 1st of November. You bounce off the previous EQ, blah, 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 and still expecting those lows to go. Asia lows, please. And then there you go. You take those lows. Now, when price did retrace back up to these daily levels, I was entering in a couple of shorts. We also had the London VWAP here, so I entered into a couple of shorts, and then I took profits when we hit the lows there. Now, look at the point I make here. Market structure is king. How else would I have expected these lows to be taken? Exactly. Look, there's the low that took out the previous high. Okay, this can't be any simpler. I'm going to show you another example, and examples. Like, this can't be any simpler. You don't need fancy indicators. You don't need any special software. You just have to look at the market objectively and fractally, because the market is fractal. Okay, that means it's purely based on its movements. I will go into it more and more, but let's just keep to the objective of this. Okay. Okay, the low goes right. Let's expect. Oh yeah, look at this. Bounce to 4200 and then to the previous day point of control would be lovely. Okay, what did we see? We saw exactly that. You bounce. Oh, not that one. You can see here. You bounce up to 4200. We took the lows. There was me taking a quick long, right? I had a trailing stop loss, so we're moving it up. You know, I'm being very transparent with my positions. Quickly, because we took these lows, but our market structure was down. I didn't expect anything more from this trade, so I was obviously very quick with my stop loss. I wanted to secure the profits, but look at what you have. Look at what's happening here. You're getting structure moving down. You're making a lower high. You're making a lower low, and this is more than likely just another lower high, because this is where the supply took control and broke structure. See that? There's the low. There's the high that took the low. There you go. So when you come back up to 4200, exactly like Luke says, you've got a 5-minute zone right there. What do you expect? Also, you've got the London VWAP there. What do you expect? You then say, come down and get the previous day point of control. What happens? You come up, you touch 4200. It's also the monthly open and the UTC open. I did fill another short there. There's a couple of questions about market structure. I won't get into that exactly just yet. But there's some good value there. If you want to pause right now, check it out. There you go. There you go. There you go. There's some of the secret to the source. There you go. Okay. Now, let's look here. So, what happened? We hit that 4200 area that Luke talked about. We came down, and now we're looking at the VWAP close, the time point of control, and the volume point of control, which was from the previous day. You come up, you tap into that area exactly as we were talking about. You now start to break this structure again, okay? Right. What were we looking for? We were looking for the previous day point of control. Okay. So I moved my limit. Now I did a 491. Where is it? Maybe somewhere here. Find it. I can't find it. I did have a limit set 491, which was the exact previous day point of control. I can't see it though. Yeah, there it is. Lol. See, this was where my limit was set. These were the lows that we just saw bounce. It then came back down, and it was so close to the previous day point of control, but it front run it, and that was pretty much the low of the day. But I've skipped ahead a bit too much there. Sorry. Okay, let me go back. Yeah, so we bounced on this area. We hit these highs here, and then when we retrace, I then say, right, retrace please. I'm now saying, right, I want to get into a long here. I was looking at potentially that this high had been broken here, but then I then go on to say, I'm looking for a retrace from this perspective. Yeah, so I say I bailed out for a quick profit, because if you look at this structure here, it hasn't really, this bounce hasn't really achieved much. Yeah, it's broken this little internal high, but it still just ran into the volume to the London VWAP. You also look at these lows here, it's rejecting on these lows, so I wasn't really that happy with it. So I just jumped out for a quick profit. This internal stuff. I bailed out for a quick profit. I like the idea of London lows, so the low of the day. Internal structure, I looked at scalp from still. Looks bearish to me. So the internal structure is what I look to scalp from, and it still looks bearish to me. Okay, I would like to see a break above 4200 for more confidence on long. Okay, you've also got the 4190 area that we're looking for. Luke's looking for exactly this. Like, look at that. Like he says, let's take out the previous the London lows, which is hit that. You're looking for the previous day point of control. It's in that green box that we've just been talking about. You know, we're around these zones. We're looking for this low to be taken out, and what happens? You get that eventual take of London low. You miss my entry by like 2 ticks, if that, maybe a tick, and that turned out to pretty much be the very low. Luke grabbed it perfectly. Look, he was at 4191. I had 4191. We both had the exact same idea. But he managed to grab it pretty much perfectly. He gave up on it, waiting for it. So, yeah, the rest of the day, it turned out to be pretty much just a beautiful, beautiful trade. You can see here, this was his exact plan. And then it was just a case of following the price action. Then when you start breaking these highs, like I said, once you start breaking into 4200, where are we? Let's have a look. Where are we now? Oh, we're heading into London. So let's look at the let's look at yeah. So when you start breaking into 4200 territory, so this was a real decent high that took out these lows and then took out obviously the new lows in the London session. You got that bounce, then you get the retrace, you take out the low, etc. We're looking for that bounce there. Just talked about that, but I was looking for this high to be gone and for the UTC open to be claimed. So once you see that reclaim, it's then a case of just trying to hop on the trend. That turned out to be pretty good because price kind of shut off from there. I did manage to get back in on the trend, and the day turned into a very nice winner. I don't think there's much more to go on. Let's have a look. Yep, that's all what happened yesterday. And then since then, we've had, I went into some psychology. Yeah, so you can see here, obviously, this is where we were playing around, 4200. There it is. Let's open that up so it's clearer. Yeah, so 4200 is around this area, and then you got that nice godly candle that jumped out of that 4-hour supply that we were just talking about. You jump in and you hit into that daily supply zone I've been talking about for days and days, all week pretty much. So yeah, once you get into that area, it's then a case of, right, we've got the New York initial balance at that point. So if we break the high, we've got a bias up for the rest of the day. So you could potentially be looking for longs here. But on a news day, a little more crazy. You've got a 5-minute level that lines up with a nice 15-minute level with a nice retrace. Potential for that. On any other day, that'd be obviously a clear long for me. But I wasn't really trading anymore. I'd made enough on the day, and I was more than happy to sort of tap out. And then it was a case of seeing where the market wants to go. Now, this is a great example of what I just showed you before. Here's the low that took out the previous high, okay? So that took out the previous high. This was New York initial balance. You took out the top of the New York initial balance. You then have another go at the highs. You break this low. You then get the retrace into the 618, and that was an easy 4-hour trade, okay? I said there, if I was trading right now, I would have definitely taken that. It's almost comically simple sometimes. Right? Look at that. So easy. You've also got a decent reaction off that daily supply zone I was talking about. And then you eventually hit that New York VWAP. And from there, I pretty much wasn't looking at it at all. So that was a lot of talking, and I hope you saw some value of, hope you saw how much value is inside the crew. I really believe that if you were to join us, you'd see how traders who are literally doing this day in, day out, the goal of a trader is to consistently turn up every single day and work hard at their own evolution, work hard at becoming a better version of themselves and strive for self-mastery. And you see so many cases of that in the crew. But yeah, let's jump into what's potentially next. So obviously we've got that really nice reaction on the daily supply. Let's jump down to where we were when I last spoke. Okay, so this, what was it? It might be on here actually. Ooh, I'll show you that in a second. Yeah, no, it wasn't on that, was it? Yeah, it was. Okay, so pretty much exactly like this is the first time I've seen this. But look what you've got here. Where did I put my cake? Okay, look at where cake puts his cakes, right? Yeah, the VWAP was a good take profit because you could potentially just run from there. But where did I put my cupcake? Right here, okay? You've got a really nice overlap of this 5-minute area, 5-minute demand. You've also got this 15-minute area. And what has it achieved? What has that level achieved? okay? It's broken out and it's continuing this bullish trend, okay? So the trend is up, okay? So now you have pro trend. You also have a bias that you've taken out the New York initial balance, and then you retrace it back into discount demand, double D's, okay? You've come back into the double D zone, and you've got 1, 2, 3, liquidity grab, go, okay? That's such a beautiful, beautiful trade, and it's almost sad that I didn't trade it, but I take a lot of solace in the fact that I'm able to identify these areas. It's almost as satisfying as making money. Okay. I identified when the pullback was about to occur. The pullback occurred and it came back into a level I identified. If you to have traded that and you to have traded the high probability that if the initial balance in New York breaks one way, it's unlikely to break the other way. If you to have traded that with a simple invalidation below the New York initial balance low, you know, if you're swing trading right now, what are you looking at? You're looking at a 7R. Kind of insane, okay? This is the power of trading with the trend. This is the power of trading one instrument, understanding its characteristics, certain times of day, and just focusing purely on your strategy, your execution, but more importantly, your psychological control. Okay, I could have traded that yesterday. I could have, but I'd done enough. Okay, I'd done enough, and I removed myself, and I went and watched some football, hung out with my girlfriend, and watch some shit on telly. Do you know what I mean? Like I relaxed my brain, so then today I can get up and I can get at it again. Okay, and it's important to find the balance. Now I'm a huge believer in working hard and overdoing things that are worth doing, and you've got to understand that trading is the most difficult pursuit that you will ever take. And if you don't do the hard stuff and you don't do the stuff that most people aren't willing to do, you will not succeed. Okay, it's as simple as that. 90% of people lose. Why do they lose? It's not because of their strategies. There's 1,000 winning strategies on the market on YouTube for free right now. Okay, it's about your control of yourself. What happens between your ears? Okay, it's so important, and it's something that took me so long to get. And I truly believe with the way I trade now, it's almost so mechanical. It's like it's not human in a way. Like it takes away the human guesswork and all the nuance and the discretion. Yeah, there's elements of discretion, but there's also just plain and simple. Candle goes higher than another candle. It retraces between that range below the midpoint, and you've got a higher probability chance of making more than you lose. It could literally the bare bones is that. Okay, I'm sorry I've ranted a little bit. I've been listening to a lot of trading psychology books and podcasts. But yeah, what am I looking for anyway? I told you this one wasn't going to be a short one. I'm just kind of rambling. So let's have a look. So what's happened so far today? We've taken out Asia lows. See that happen pre 7 a.m. So you're watching the charts. That was potentially a really nice area to take a long position. You are very much pro trend by taking the long positions. So you're more inclined to be buying at lows than you are to be selling at highs. I hope that makes sense by this point. You want to be trading pro trend. Like there's no point fighting something. If this had a pullback that looked like this, it did that, then the shorts become way more enticing, okay? Because you're showing signs that the market is shifting, okay? But the market isn't shifting. The market is purely just going for it, okay? Look at that. Can you see a single significant pullback? Look, even to here, you just take out all your lows, you gather some liquidity, you hit all that area demand, you grab it all, and you fly off again, okay? Why would you be shorting this? Okay, yeah, there's high time frame levels we're going to probably look at in a sec, but there's just no sense in it. Okay, look for the low that took out the previous high, and look for that to be broken Then look for an area where your risk to reward far outweighs, you know, is asymmetrical to the point where your reward is so much greater than your risk. Find those opportunities in the market, be patient for them, look for them with a hunter's mentality, search and wait and get ready to kill, okay? Because you will be so much more successful, okay? And if you can't wait to take a trade, if you really can't wait to take a trade and you're so impatient, you stare at the chart all day, then just trade the trend. Just follow it. Just get on board. It's easier to jump on a moving train than it is to try and stop it and stand in front of it, okay? Anyway, rant over. Right, let's have a look at some demand and supply. Right, so what have I been talking about? This overall bullish daily structure, okay? Come below the 0.5. We've collected some liquidity. Yeah, we didn't hit this daily demand. We did take out the liquidity here though, and that seems to have been enough to begin to break the internal structure. Let's go to them. I've given away so much alpha in this fucking video. I hope you're watching and listening. Sorry, that sounded so arrogant. That sounded like Dan from Chart Champions then. He's got little hands. Anyway, look at this. Since we've hit under the 0.5, you've broken this 4-hour high. That was the high. It took out the previous low. Okay, significant high. It achieved something. Okay, when you're looking at highs and lows, the first question you ask yourself is, did it achieve something significant? If it did, it becomes significant. Okay, then you can drill down into the finer details. Okay, but it's all about isolating significant highs and lows and understanding the market and where it is, where's it trying to go? What's the objective of the market? Now we've got a higher time frame bullish plan, or bullish bias, and we've got a lower time frame, 4-hour mid time frames, call it bearish bias. Okay, so we're looking for potential shorting opportunities. Okay, but what are we looking for to establish whether one side wins? You know what I mean? So how are we going to find the signs of who's winning this fight? Well, simple enough. If we understand, okay, let's keep it super simple. If we understand that because of a bullish breaker structure, there it is, there's the daily bullish breaker structure, what must happen for the trend to continue? There must be a lower time frame, lower than the daily, so it's called the 4-hour mid time frame, whatever. There must be a facilitation of demand. There needs to be a pullback for the facilitation for demand to be interested in prices again. Okay, so bigger players can fill bigger positions, etc., etc., and they can look to play that trend up again. Okay, so if this is going to be the case, and it seems from the current market volatility upwards that may be, that may be the plan, but we don't care about what happens in the news. We just look at pure structure. We don't need to read the news. We don't need fucking any core, we don't need any FOMC data. We don't need any numbers on the chart other than retracements. We need pure structure, okay? And that is it. It's just, for me, it's just the best way to trade. And I think if you can learn this as a fundamental basis, then the next step is finding POIs, which is probably what you're all great at right now. If you're good at analysis, you're probably great at finding prices of interest, areas of interest. You've got a bunch of confluence on a certain area, but like I keep saying, just because something is on the chart doesn't mean it has to work. You have to let the market show you it's working. Okay, right now we've had areas where we were expecting some sort of reaction, and the reaction is showing us. Okay, it is now showing us. So how are we going to understand whether we are going to carry on up or we're going to go deeper? Okay, now let's look at that. Here's the 4-hour. Here is our swing range. Okay. Now, you could consider this as your swing range, I suppose. It's a little bit trickier, but this didn't really. Now, this is where discretion may come in because you didn't really get a significant pullback here. You didn't reach at least the 50%. In my eyes, I think you need at least a 50% or a relatively high retrace. There's the 50% mark. I would have liked to retrace up into these levels to consider that then the lower high. But you didn't get that. You didn't even, I think you got to around the 382. And what I see this is I just see this as one single leg like that. I just see that as just a little pullback on a single leg. So that this to me, I believe, is the actual swing range. I believe it's there to there. Okay, now that's where a little bit of discretion and nuance comes into it. So that's not purely mechanical, but the way we're gonna make decisions going forward will be. Okay, so I think this will be a significant movement. If price can do this, break above that high, and then pull back, then what you need to be seeing is you need to see another break. Okay, now why do you need to see that? Because this is it's a significant point in this chart, in this leg. Okay, so let's look at potentially going into this zone here where you've got a larger, I think that's a weekly. Yeah, this is a larger weekly OD. You've also got really significant areas here in the chart. So it's gonna be a case of potentially looking for that next lower high that breaks the structure. That would tell us we're potentially going to keep on going higher, and then it will become a case of waiting for the overall high to be broken, the retrace, and then the move up. Okay, now that's going to take a while, and the thing is, at this time frame, we don't really need to stipulate or speculate or whatever. We don't, these are the things we want to look for a macro idea. But right now, all we need to understand is we're sitting in a daily area of supply. This is a significant area because it broke prior lows. Okay, so this is an area of resistance. Okay, we're also above the 50% mark of the overall swing range. This is an area where we could be expecting a pullback. Okay, now let's focus in on what we could potentially look for today. Now, obviously, I spoke about you want to play the trends, so you could be looking for longs on the day and potentially carry on, but you could be looking at low time frame execution, like we were talking about in the Discord, about how you can take scalping opportunities. There's a totally different way of doing this, but I think it really helps to understand the macro idea, to help guide your lower time frame scalping. So you understand the objective of price, you understand the narrative, and then you can act with confidence and with understanding that the overall time frames higher, or the higher time frames will give you power essentially. Okay, so yeah, we're looking into these wicks at the minute. We got anything going on at the 15? Let's have a look. So what did we see here? You get that sweep of liquidity there. You get that big sweep of liquidity, and then that goes. So this for me is such a significant high. It's a strong area, and right now we're above it. We're tested into this wick. See, for me, I would like to see at least this high, I think, before I'd really consider a short, unless the market starts to show me that it's turning around, because you've just got to bear in mind that you're just in resistance now. Okay, you're in a high time frame resistance, and if you're playing the low time frame chop, if you want to catch the bigger moves at specific points of the day, you need to be prepared, and you need to know what where you're at. I've been talking to you now for all of this move down when I've said we're bearish, and I've talked to you about all of this move up where we basically I said we're bullish. Okay, we broke this high here. It was a significant moment. It was a 4-hour break of structure, and since then you got the pullback. We loaded longs. You got the pullback again. I talked about why that was a significant area. And since then it hasn't looked back. Okay. Now I'm telling you to be cautious and to understand that you're in high time frame resistance. Okay, I think it's quite possible you get a liquidity grab above that wick, but I think it's also possible you come up, consolidate, and then you move, or you come up, you consolidate, and then you drop. Okay, so there's so many different things that could happen, but if you're just looking on a daily perspective, you know, what could we be looking at? This is really messy. Don't like how messy that is. That's obviously New York. Yeah, it's post New York. See, look at that. You drop into that 15-minute I talked about. Boom, boom, gone. Yeah, see, we're pulling back. Yeah, let's have a look. Not seeing much at the minute, to be honest. Maybe if that low drops and you see a nice break below there, you could grab a retrace. Let's look at 5. Oh my god, a doji. Shut up. Yeah, this is gonna be a case of wait and see. So you can see here, you're just popping into that area. This is even a potential scalp long opportunity right here. You've got a simple invalidation. You're expecting this high to be going eventually. If it breaks below, then you've got an idea that it could essentially be making that rotation back downwards. So you could be looking for short opportunities. So you're constantly playing asymmetric reward. So, there's a potential to do something like that. You've got a really easy validation. You've got really easy risk to reward. Say that breaks. Let's say it does something like that, comes back up. Well, then you've got the opportunity to do that. You can target probably. Oh, it's moved all the way up on this day. This is going to be such a long video. And I don't care. Okay, so that's your UTC open. That is going to be, oh no, that's going to be your CME open. This is going to be your, it's going to be your UTC open, CME open. You could potentially be looking down towards these areas. That previous 4-hour supply, which we've just marked out there, you could be looking for that really, which would be very, very nice trade. Looks like you are potentially getting bounced. Let's say you did get that reaction there. This is just how simple it is. If you're scalping, stick to the trend. If you're looking for a decent risk to reward day trade, wait for confirmations. Okay, understand the larger picture. We're in resistance right now. Okay, so if you find that confirmation that you're looking for, now this is obviously very thin and very difficult. So you may want to wait for a larger confirmation, but the trade may run away from you by then. So you could use other things like session VWAP, that. How long have we been open? It's 8 o'clock. Yeah, so you should really be looking for that, in my opinion. If you do get that reaction, you could be looking for that. Yeah. The trend is your friend until the end. I think this is doable today. But data can change any second, and that's why it's so valuable to be in here. We literally run through live what we're planning, what we're thinking, and ideas all the way. You've got some incredible analysts in here. Quim's been doing some excellent stuff lately. He's got an idea of taking out those highs also. you get that little pullback and maybe you carry on. Gas, we had a nice pullback there. That's interesting. You know, we've got NQ, talk about divergences. You know, there's so much value in here. Gazis were killing it at the minute. This looks pretty. Yeah, some absolutely incredible traders. You definitely need to get yourselves in here. I'll upload this, but I'm also always talking about different things and how I improve. Did a big piece yesterday about psychology. Also been updating that on Twitter. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Oh, no. Last thing. This is how I genuinely believe this unfolds. Call me crazy, okay? If you've been listening to me, and you're probably not listening to me right now, because why would you be? This is probably like a half-an-hour video at this point. But if you are, this is a little gift. Well, let's see. Market structure-wise, this is a weekly breaker structure. You're now retracing into premium supply. That's a weekly level right there. You've got the point of control right there. You've got another high volume node right there. You've got that weekly supply. You've got that value area high of that entire sort of bull market range. If you come up and you hit that 50% mark around that weekly supply, I'd expect a new well, if you get that breaker structure, you get that confirmation, you get that short opportunity, it could be so good. And then you trade that basically all the way back down until May, I reckon, with the halving. You then probably get a little bit of excitement afterwards, probably a little bit lower. Around this point, you probably get some ETF news. You know, this is pure crystal ball shit right now, but you get into these lower prices after the halving, and then 2025, new highs. End of the year 2024, 2025, whatever. I reckon that's genuinely doable. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.